You guys, we just did a little bit of research using some articles about the Louisiana Purchase and learning about Lewis and Clark. So this is just a very quick recap of what we just read about, okay? So the Louisiana Purchase, in 1804, Thomas Jefferson wanted to expand the United States. What's expand mean?
Like get twice as bigger.
Make it bigger. And he wanted to buy land. Who owned that land that he wanted to buy, Brian?
The French have owned it.
French owned the land. Good job. And so Napoleon offered to sell the land for $15 million. Did we accept?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
You got it.
Touch that arrow and see if mouse comes up as a choice. So
This one? Okay.
Yes.
So remember, this purchase, did it triple the size of the land?
Yes.
No, it doubled it. So look, we owned this orange part that was right here. This green part is what the French owned. And we bought it, so it basically doubled the size of the United States, okay? Can I see? Alright, so then the question was, alright, we have this land. Now what are we going to do with it? And Thomas Jefferson, he believed that the first steps, I didn't touch it. The first step was to go and figure out what they bought. So, what do they do again? So he was like, we have this new land. Now I need some people to do what?
Go explore.
To go and explore that land. And he sent Lewis and Clark to explore the territory for new trade and to map it. What does that mean, for new trade? Do you guys know? Brian?
New trade is kind of like treaty stuff, I think.
Alright, so let's try to, we can't use the word in our definition. So, to trade means to, let's just someone trade shoes with me. Don't really, but what does that mean?
That means you have something that I want, and you have something that
I have something that you want, and you have something that I want, so let's swap, okay?
You can buy it.
So he's, sometimes it's like that. So he wanted to send them over to find new trade, so different foods that they could use and that could be valuable. Gold. You know, hey, does this land have gold? What does it have on it? And he wanted them to go and map that new land because remember, there weren't maps back then. There weren't GPSs. This was a brand new piece of land that they never even seen before. Alright, so the mission would have failed without the help and kindness that other Native Americans provided. And one very, very important person to their journey was, what's her name, Valeria? Sacagawea. And she joined the team as an interpreter. What's that mean? Someone besides Brian. What's that mean?
Come on.
So, she was an interpreter, and that means, okay, Brian.
It's a navigator.
Kind of a navigator.
She joined the team
But what is it specifically for? For different...
an interpreter. You guys know that, right?
People?
So I can't speak Spanish. You guys speak Spanish, but I absolutely cannot.
So you want to talk to this person, but you can't. So you want to talk to a Spanish person, you don't know how to speak Spanish, but we do, so we could translate it.
Yes, that key word, Alvaro said it, Brian just said it, translate, okay? So she was an interpreter, that they mean the same thing, interpreter and translate. That's what she did for them, because they were not from America, okay?
They were from
they were from America, but we were exploring this new land that the French owned. And they didn't know how to speak those people's language, so they needed her. And just the simple fact that they brought a woman with them, and not a lot of people know this, but Sacagawea, she carried her baby around this whole journey. And
they
so,
also said it's named Martin.
I don't know his name,
It's
but
right there.
they. Oh.
No, that was there. Like,
I don't know. I'll find out for you.
It's not the name Martin because it was on it that guy's hat.
So that is okay, but just the fact that they had a woman with them who had a baby, they seemed a lot less threatening because remember, not all the settlers and people that were coming over, they weren't very nice. And so a lot of the different tribes and people, they kind of like, they went and got their their weapons to see if those people were nice or not. And if they weren't nice, they were going to try to fight them maybe.
So your dad didn't have shoes?
Maybe not back then. Alright, so the team followed the Missouri River and they reached the Pacific Ocean in 1805. The journey took about a year and a half. Could you guys walk for a year and a half straight?
Yes. No. Unless it's someone turns me.
I don't want to. Alright, so Lewis and Clark returned to Jefferson with maps of the territory, specific data that they gathered about new plants and animals. What does that mean? Specific data that they gathered about plants and animals. Quick, make it quick, okay?
This is scientific data.
Scientific data.
Like a scientist is going to see if these plants and animals are going to see if they're good for us to eat or if they're poisonous.
Jesus?
It's the same thing that happened before.
Did you want to add on? The question was, what is scientific data about plants and animals? Like, what does that mean? Lewis and Clark.
Lewis's partner discovered rocks and leaves. And what was the poisonous ones?
Sup, guys? Did you just hear what he said?
Like getting plants
So,
medicine or something.
yep, they were recording, like there was no record of anything. They had no clue what these plants and animals and like what they were. So Lewis and Clark, they kept a journal while they were going and exploring the new land. And so they would probably maybe draw a picture of what they saw. They may have made up a name for it. It was really cool back then. If you were the first one to find something, you could make a name for it, and then boom, that's what it was called. So that's what they were doing, and they were just, okay, this one's poisonous, this one is good to eat, this one is good medicine, and that's the data that they were keeping, okay? And just about different
How do they know it's poisonous?
trial and error. So, hey, if someone touched it and got bumps all over them, you know not to touch that one, right? And so that was the beginning of the era in the United States, Western expansion. All right, so in 1803 is when we had the Louisiana Purchase. In 1804, just a year later, that's when Lewis and Clark went to go explore the new land. And now we are going to be learning about the Trail of Tears. Okay, and that happened in 1830. That was 26 years later, and that's what we are going to learn about next, okay? All right.
Like tomorrow?